Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. To follow us on Instagram, go to No Name Music Cast Podcast. To send us an email, it's nonamemusiccast@gmail.com. And to visit our website, go to nonamemusiccast.com. Now, on with the show. Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. My name's Tim, and this is
Joy.
And we join you today on a Sunday afternoon in an ice storm. Now, for people outside the United States, we in this area, we get snow. We've had big snow drifts and snowstorms and all that kind of stuff. But in recent years, you get a little bit of snow, maybe a few inches or maybe a foot for those of you who work in freedom units. I don't know about the rest of the world. But we have ice storms. And what happens is it rains ice. And it is currently outside, as I look out the window, raining ice. And it's been doing that all day. And that is terrible. It means you cannot drive on the roads. It means you cannot walk on any of the paths. And more importantly, it messes up power lines and brings down trees, and then people lose power.
Yes, and it is not a question of, oh, I can drive in snow, or, oh, I have a four-wheel drive. When it comes to ice in our area, it doesn't matter. There was literally a snowplow, a giant snowplow in my neighborhood. I was just telling Tim about this. Ran off the road, hit another car, and ripped the snowplow off the front of his truck today. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I mean, snow plows are designed to be in snow and ice conditions. Now, that tells you that really you don't want to get involved with being out there today.
And me and Tim have both already just been discussing, we're already closed for work tomorrow, guys, don't worry about us. And then we think the potential for Tuesday being another snow day, just because it's supposed to be so cold that none of this will go away.
No, it's just nothing's going to happen. It's going to be minus temperatures for the next few days. I would be surprised if we're at work on Tuesday. I would imagine maybe Wednesday, even delayed on Wednesday. I'm going to see how it is, but it's rough out there.
It is. And I'm of the opinion of it's not worth it. So just don't do it. So with that being said, me and Tim are both kind of in management capacities. So we kind of have to have that conversation with our people. We're both of that mindset. If you don't feel comfortable, don't do it.
No, I had a meeting saying to the people that report to me, if you do not feel comfortable driving on these roads, do not drive on these roads. Use a PTO day and we will figure it out.
And to be honest with you, in my case, my office, we do have a lot of front-facing things, but there's not going to be that many people coming to us. They're not going to be coming out to do the things they need to do anyway. So it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
Exactly. There we are. That's our ice safety PSA from No Name Music Cast.
Now, when we do reopen, it'll be a nightmare, but that's a debate for another time. All right. So with that being said, I'll let Tim, did you have any music news or anything you'd want to speak about to begin with?
Yes, I have one music news item. A very sad news this week. Apparently, the bassist from the Scorpions, Francis Buchholz, I think he's a German gentleman. Sadly, we lost him. He was 75 years old. He had a battle with cancer for a number of years. And he is the bass player, or was the bass player, should I say, in the Scorpions for all of those classic hits, Rock You Like a Hurricane, Wind of Change, all those songs that you know from the Scorpions. He was the bass player in the band. My favorite Scorpions album is Crazy World from 92. I really like that. That's the one with Wind of Change on it. And Tease Me, Please Me is another track on that album, which I really like. And he was the bass player for that. But sadly, we lost him this week.
Charlie is a huge fan of Wind of Change. I think I've heard that song more than I care to admit for any one person. I think what's sad, though, is I didn't hear about this when it happened. I only heard about this when I was possibly going on the Google machine and looking at music news for this podcast. But I didn't see anyone saying anything or anything about him. So that's kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, he was there, from the start up to their big commercial peak. And it's a shame that we lost him this week. I mean, as we said before, all of our rock heroes, all the people that we really like and love, they're all getting up there. They're all 70, 80 years old. And sadly, it's just inevitable. We're going to start losing them.
Well, that's depressing. Thanks, Tim.
But it's true.
Fine. Well, with that, as Tim would say, rock in peace. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about at the beginning?
No, that's the only music news item I have this week.
I just thought it was funny because, we've talked about the Foo Fighters at nauseum on this podcast. They had a little bit of, I don't know if it's music news, but like they kept popping up when I was doing my Googs. And so basically they just did a show in Tasmania yesterday. And during the show live, his exact words were, they finished their album the other day. That's what he said. So apparently he said, we're back here sooner than you think. I know when we're coming back. It's my next birthday, January 14th, 2027, just so you know. And then he said, we have a whole new album of word I can't use on this podcast songs that we just finished the other day. So I guess they've officially finished their album, Tim.
There we are. I wonder if the new drummer will be drumming on it or whether Dave Grohl will be drumming on it like the last Foos album.
I don't know. I thought that too, but nothing confirmed it. Basically, it was just him yelling that at the audience, and that's what the update people got.
Yeah, I mean, I will be buying a physical copy of that album because I own every Foo Fighters album on CD. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, the Foos have got some great music. I like the Foos, but, I think Dave's indiscretions over the last few years and the fact he fired Josh Freese, he's not quite the same cuddly, friendly Dave that everyone seems to like.
He's very interesting. We'll leave it at that. Now, on a bit of music news, kind of. I just thought this was funny. So we've joked about the cost of music tickets and like how hard it is now and how it's become almost like a game to get tickets for shows, I guess. Mm-hmm. So Bruno Mars, which I know you're probably not, I don't think Tim's like a huge Bruno Mars fan, but he knows who he is. I do like Bruno Mars. Apparently in 2026, he's got what's known as the Romantic Tour coming up. He just had a song come out. And whether you enjoy him or not, he is incredibly a talented musician. He writes his own stuff, he sings, he performs, he dances, so on and so forth. So there was a huge battle to get his tickets. Like it was like the Taylor Swift thing all over again, where people were lining up for hours to get tickets. And when they finally got out of the queue, they had like 30 seconds to click their tickets or they would be gone.
No.
Some of the tickets were ranking over $7,000. Most of them were around, $300 to $500 range for a decent seat. But yeah, I just can't think of anyone. I mean, I love Bruno Mars. I really do. But I do not have it in me to fight, like physically fight with people on the internet to get tickets to a concert, Tim. I just don't have it in me.
No. I mean, when I saw Metallica, I was logged in as soon as the pre-sale went on. And I was at the beginning of the queue. I could get any tickets I like. And that was a reasonably simple operation because I had a pre-sale code and I did it at the right time, et cetera, et cetera. But it's not so much the fighting, it's the cost. Now you think like last time Brian May and his karaoke band came to this sort of area, I think they came to Greensboro. And I toyed with the idea of going because I thought, well, if I don't see Brian May play, I'm probably never going to see him ever again. And then I looked at the prices and it's like nosebleeds were $400-500 a pop. And it's like,
that too.
I love you, Brian May. I love everything about you, but I'm not doing that.
That's a good point. So not only do I have to wait in a queue, and people were saying they were waiting for hours, Tim. I have to pay $500 after I've waited for hours for possibly to see you on a big screen in front of me because I probably won't even be anywhere near the stage. Like, I just can't bring myself to do that. Now, one thing I will say Bruno did a nice job of was he was getting reports of this happening. He added a lot more tour dates. So it seems like now people are getting in a little bit easier. But when they first came out, man, it was like I saw multiple people on like different social media saying they waited for like 3-4 hours. And then they only had like 30 seconds to grab the tickets they want. And half the tickets when they got there were the only ones left with the really expensive ones. So and I'm like, no, I just can't think of one artist I would do that for, Tim. I really can't.
No, I just think we've reached a peak with this where it's got to the point where it's ridiculous.
Yes. It is. And something's got to give. And some of these companies that we've talked about, the Ticketmaster overlords are some of it is their fault. Some of it's our fault for letting them do it. It just too many things. All right. So speaking of overlords, we're going to do a game, but with an AI overlord today, Tim.
Okay.
I won't tell you which one it is, but I was listening to something today that was talking about AI and it popped up in my head and I thought this was a fun opportunity for me and Tim to play a game together, but also to see what AI comes up with. I want to see if they come up with the same answers we come up with, if they come up with the most generic thing you've ever heard, or the likes of it. So the idea is we have about 15 word prompts, and I'm going to put it in this unnamed AI bot machine that you could probably Google because it's like the number one that everybody uses. And then I'm going to see what song it gives me. I'm going to see what song Tim gives. And then I'm going to give a song. I have not looked at any of these categories. They're completely random. I didn't want to have like a head start. Not that it really matters. It's just a word. But I'm curious to see what our AI overlords come up with if we play them in a game with us.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you, Tim?
It does indeed.
So the first category, ironically, because we were talking about weather, is rain. So what song did you come up with, Tim?
So if you tell me rain, the one that comes up first off in my brain is the Weather Girls' It's Raining Men. Now, this song...
That's what I thought too, Tim.
Not only is this song fabulous, it's absolutely fabulous, but it's also written by Paul Schaefer. Paul Schaefer being David Letterman's musical director. And if you know what Paul Schaefer looks like, it seems highly unlikely that he would write a song called It's Raining Men. I know he obviously wrote it to order. I'm sure some kind of producer put the Weather Girls together and then Paul was around and maybe played on the track and wrote the song or something like that. But like when you read the lyrics, you think that came from the brain of Paul Schaefer.
And the only thing I think of when I think of Paul Schaefer is just sunglasses. That's all I think of.
Yeah, lots of different color sunglasses. He's sitting there playing his keyboard with Dave and he's bantering backwards and forwards.
Exactly. Now, what's funny is our AI overlord said Purple Rain by Prince.
Yeah, it's funny that that, of course, is a solid choice. Purple Rain, and a classic Rain song, and a song that I probably play every single weekend with various bands that I've been in. But I don't know, my head immediately went to It's Raining Men rather than Purple Rain. My brain
literally sang It's Raining Men in it. Like, I didn't just like, that's what, so when you said that out loud, I was like, oh, that's the same thing I came up with. All right, so let's get our next random. All right, the word is run. I can give you mine first. See what this time.
You do yours first.
St. Elmo's Fire. That's the first thing that came to mind because it reminds me of someone like exercising, running, very like, I don't know. It sounds like a song you'd listen to when you're running.
Okay.
What did you come up with?
I would go with Pink Floyd's Run Like Hell. And that is a song that Pink Floyd played at the fabled Nebworth 90 concert, a concert which we did an entire episode about if you want to go back in our archives.
See, and I think the reason I brought up, didn't we like Google that movie, St. Elmo's Fire? It had something to do with the athletics something, Tim, or am I making that whole story up?
I'm not entirely sure what it's about.
I thought we Googled it. Hold on, because it's a movie, St. Elmo's Fire.
It's not the theme tune movie to a gas-fired dealership called Dante Fires, is it?
Oh, well, I'm completely wrong. It has nothing to do with running. So that's just me who thinks that the song's about running. Apparently, a group of recent college graduates embark on a series of misadventures in the real world. I don't know. It sounds like a song that you'd hear during like a training montage, is what I mean by that.
Yeah, I mean, like you'd hear Eye of the Tiger or Holding Out for a Hero or something. Yeah, I can see St. Elmo's Fire.
It's got that vibe.
Iron. I can see that.
Sure, let's go with that. All right, let me give you AI gave us one that makes more sense than mine. It said Runaway by Bon Jovi.
Yeah. Do you want an interesting fun fact about the song Runaway by Bon Jovi?
Sure.
So it appears on the very first Bon Jovi album, just called Bon Jovi. And every other track on that album is the Bon Jovi band. Richie Sambora, Tico Torres, I forget the name of the bass player. Anyway, it's irrelevant. But the whole band is playing on there. The Runaway track was made by the band that John Bon Jovi was in before he got famous. And it was a demo track that they made. And they were going to remake it for the first Bon Jovi album, but the demo was so good, they just remastered it and put it on the album anyway. None of the Bon Jovi members play on that track except John Bon Jovi.
Well, there you go. I've never heard that. That sounds like something I should have learned back in my day watching VH1, but that one's new to me, Tim.
I don't know if that would be covered by pop-up video. I'm not sure.
It feels like Bon Jovi was a pop-up video. Speaking of that, you saw, that MTV ended, right?
Yeah,
Did you see that?
I think it's like the
Officially?
MTV in Europe stopped broadcasting music videos or something.
Were they still broadcasting music? Did anyone even know they were?
Yeah, I don't know. I still maintain, and I will continue to maintain this, for people of my age and older, I still think there's merit in having MTV Classic. It would be incredibly cheap to do.
Yeah.
And you'd play music videos, and then the Viacom have probably got all the old MTV specials and concerts and everything on tapes. You just throw them on there and just run that thing 24/7. I would watch that all the time, and I still think there's merit for that.
There you go. I mean, I probably would. And it would be something that I could easily just like put on. It would play in the background. You know what I mean? Too. You might not have to be focused on it, but you could just enjoy the music. I don't think it's a bad idea. We'll have to call Viacom. We obviously know how to do that.
Yeah, I did. I put that on the internet a few times, like on threads. And then someone piped in and said, "Oh, it's all to do with music licensing, and the licensing model has changed now, and it would be too expensive to do and too complicated and stuff." But I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not an official person that would know that, but sure, sounds right. They could be right. All right. So our next word is freedom. I'll let you go first this time.
Okay, I would say George Michael, Freedom 90.
That's what AI said as well.
Oh, look at me agreeing with the robots.
I personally thought Philadelphia Freedom, Elton John.
Well, yeah, that's true, I suppose. I mean, that is a really great track, and it's a track that reminds me of a completely different time in my life, and one I'm not going to share here. But it does. When I hear that song, it takes me back to a particular time in my life.
Oh, I love that song. That is one of the songs that I listen to fairly often. It has kind of a weird topic. I realize I don't know. I'm not from Philadelphia or anything, but I think that is. I don't know if I would say it's underrated, but it's definitely not a track that people jump to when they start talking about Elton John. But something about like when that little "I live and breathe that Philadelphia free," that just little thing lives rent free in my head, and I really just like the way that canter or rhythm or whatever you want to call it, it sounds. I think it was very underrated when you think of Elton John.
No, it is a fantastic Elton John track. I mean, so many in that era are so iconic still. I mean, his later output had some really good songs, but none of them were as iconic as the ones from around that era.
And that is like peak Elton John for me, so I'm with Tim on that. But yeah, I just think it's funny that the first thing that, and see, I would have thought Freedom 90 because I love George Michael so much, but for some reason, as soon as the word freedom came up, it went to Philadelphia Freedom.
There we are. I just thought of George Michael and their Freedom 90. I mean, that's just where I went. Just the first thing that came into my mind.
Did Bernie Turpin write for? It's weird to me they wrote a song about Philadelphia, considering neither of them, I don't know that they have any association with Philadelphia.
No, Elton John's from Pinner and Bernie Taupin is from Scotland. I don't know, maybe they both went to Philadelphia, who knows? But I mean, yeah, Bernie Taupin would have written the lyrics, of course.
And see, when I think of Philadelphia Freedom, and I'm sure Tim's been to Philly before, from some point in time during his travels.
I have indeed.
Did you see the Liberty Bell and all that kind of stuff? And like you learned all about Ben Franklin and the Quakers. Did you ever do all those little tours?
Well, we went into Philadelphia. We parked up. And we went to the Hard Rock and ate at the Hard Rock and then got out. We didn't actually even see the Liberty Bell. You know, we did one thing in Philadelphia. We went into a department store and I was in the market for a very nice leather jacket. I had a good budget for it and I wanted to get a high quality leather jacket. So we went into this shop, which was like a department store, but it was a little bit more high end. And we went in there and like the leather jackets and stuff were on the third floor. So we went up to the third floor. The whole of the third floor was effectively closed and it had like chains running through all the jackets. And I said to Hannah, I'm not getting involved in this.
What side of Philly were you on there, Tim?
Well, it was in the main sort of downtown area where the Hard Rock was.
Weird. See, my experience in Philadelphia is very different than yours. I've been there a few times just like traveling through, but the one time I went and visited, we were when I was in show choir, and I've talked about we traveled to like perform and stuff. And of course, we'd go to New York a lot because they would take us to see Broadway shows and things like that. Mm-hmm. Remember, we performed at in like the like in the center and stuff like that. But anyway, on the way there or on the way back, we stopped by Philly and we went and saw like the Liberty Bell where they signed the Constitution, and you learned all about Ben Franklin. And then the Liberty Bell is one of those things. It's kind of like the Mona Lisa. Like you've heard so much about it that you see it. It's literally just a metal bell with a crack on it, and you're like, oh. And then you just turn around and walk back out. Like, you know what I mean, Tim? Like, you've seen the Mona Lisa at the Louvre. It's not really, you're just like, oh, okay. And I couldn't even get anywhere near the Mona Lisa because there were so many people in that room with me, and everybody was trying to see it. And I was like, it looks like what I see on TV. And I walked back out.
But isn't it small? Isn't the Mona Lisa tiny?
Oh, it's really small. Well, it's just the size of a normal photo, really. Like
it's
not
like
that
the
big.
size of a piece of A4. Well, it's actually probably a bit bigger than a piece of A4 paper or letter paper if you're in the United States. It's not. You think it's this huge sprawling work that covers the entire wall, but no, it's actually very small. And
It's
the
like
other thing
the size
is,
of a piece of paper. Yeah.
it's not painted on canvas. It's painted on a piece of wood. Did you know that?
Yes, I did. Well, only because of when we went, they talked about it. I mean, I think it's just because it's Leonardo da Vinci and people feel like you're supposed to see it because of the Italian Renaissance. I don't know. When I went there, I hate to say this, it was like every Asian person was in, I don't know if there was like a group of people that came from Asia that happened to be in the room with me, but there was like every Asian person you've ever seen was in the line, and they were all taking, you can't take like flash photography. You know what I'm talking about when they yell at you, don't take flash photography,
Yeah.
but they were all trying to take photos like with their phones or whatever. And I was like, okay, it looks like what I've seen on TV. I'm not waiting in this line. I just walked back out.
Well, I can see wherever you are in the world, wherever you're from, it's such an iconic piece that if you was on a trip, that was something you needed to see if you was in Paris.
Well, let's see. How large is the Mona Lisa? 30 inches by 21 inches. I don't know what that's what that means in the world. I can't reference size, Tim.
Well, there's 3 centimeters, 3.14 centimeters to an inch.
That means nothing to me.
It's pretty small. It's not one of those things you see in a gallery that fills the wall. It's small.
Okay, let's see here. I said compared to something else, roughly the size of a large poster or a medium-sized television screen, or about the size of a person's torso. That makes sense. Okay.
There we are.
I'm like, Tim says that like that's going to help me. And I'm like, I'm not happening. All right. Well, since this is obviously a music podcast, I guess we should go back to the music game we were playing.
Really? Music? Do we do that?
Ironically, I'm wearing my Paris sweater. We just started talking about the Louvre. Didn't do that on purpose. All right. So let's pick a random song or random category, and it is dancing. I can go first if you'd like this time, Tim.
Okay, you go first.
Dancing in the street.
Oh, interesting. The Bowie and Jagger version?
Yes, that's the first thing that comes. Probably because we've talked about that video about 1,000 times on this podcast. What did you pick, Tim?
Well, the obvious choice is Dancing Queen, but I'm not going to go for that. I'm going to go
That's
something
what AI went with.
So yeah, I'm going to go for something a little bit different from that. I'm going to go with the Nolans. I'm in the mood for dancing.
Oh, I should have done the Scissor Sisters. I don't feel like dancing. Da, da, da. That's one of my favorites. I missed an opportunity, but for some reason my brain went straight to that. Or you could have done like the coming out around. That would be another one too, Tim. Are you ready for it? That could be Dancing in the Street too, but dang, there was a lot. I mean, dancing's used in about how many songs? I probably could be here all week.
Or the Bee Gees.
I mean, I can't do the Bee Gees anymore. But yeah, I mean, dancing's a pretty easy one. That would be. I just thought it was funny you said that because that's what AI went with ABBA Dancing Queen.
Well, of course, that's your classic dancing song. But I said you can't really go wrong with 70s Nolan. I'm in the mood for dancing, romancing.
I just can't believe I didn't go straight to I Don't Feel Like Dancing by the Scissor Sisters because I probably listen to that song once a week. It's one of my go-to favorite songs, which is why I'm surprised it has not come up very much on our Spotify Wrapped, but we kind of agreed that AI has dominated that in a way that probably waters down our actual analysis.
Yeah. Oh, talking of AI and Spotify, they've got a new AI feature for making playlists. And it still can't make me 30 hours of music from my library that I haven't listened to before. It just throws an error. It's like, what is it for?
Hard on. It's pretty bad when our AI overlords are playing a game with us and they still can't make a playlist. All right, let's see. Let's pick another one. I'm trying to, let's see. I want it to be a little bit more random. Power.
Power. Oh, I know. I got
What'd you
one.
come up with?
It would be Huey Lewis and the News, The Power of Love, from the film Back to the Future.
I instantly went to it. This is probably because it was everywhere on YouTube, not on YouTube, on like TikToks and things like that. Probably more related to the world as a whole right now. But there's an intro where it's been taken and reworked. It's Power to the People, John Lennon, Plastic Ono Band, whatever you want to call it. But there's a version that's really popular on TikTok right now where it's like a choir, an African American choir doing the power to the people really big at the beginning. Yep. And so that's been used on like 70 videos on my feed. So that's why my brain went right there. It's not really a song I seek out very often, to be honest. It's okay, but it's not my favorite John Lennon song.
Is that the one that the AI came up with?
They came up with The Power of Love.
Oh, there you go.
I had just hit enter when we asked because I was thinking about Power to the People. No, that's what I came up with because I've been hearing it on my feed a lot recently. Yeah. It's a good song, but I wouldn't seek it out. Actually, I don't ever really seek out solo John Lennon work if I'm being transparent.
Mind Games is pretty good. Instant Karma's pretty good. There are some good solo John Lennon songs, but the problem is it gets mixed in with Yoko Ono, Plastic Ono Band. And as I said, I'm not a Yoko Ono hater at all. And if you want to look at it in a different way, a lot of that stuff that they did together as the Plastic Ono Band with soundscapes and weird music is actually very revolutionary and ahead of its time. But it's completely unlistenable, and it's hard to delve through that stuff to find a few gems.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't know what it is. It's like I was kind of thinking about this. Sorry, you can hear me typing because I was talking to AI. Asked me what songs me a tidbit. Working Class Hero is about the extent of what I listen to, and maybe around Christmas time, John Lennon comes up, but I just don't seek out his solo career. It's not that I don't like it. It just I never really think, I really want to listen to John Lennon right now. I just don't.
No, if I want Lennon, I really want Lennon and McCartney.
That's what I want to. Also, what's crazy about this is if I'm looking for a solo Beatle, I'm more likely to go to George Harrison or to Ringo Starr. I like both their solo work probably more than I listen to both their solo work more than I listen to John Lennon's solo work.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at John Lennon's songs on the Spotify, what the most popular solo songs are. You got Happy Christmas, War is Over is the most popular one. Then you got Imagine, Beautiful Boy, Woman, Jealous Guy, Stand By Me, Just Like Starting Over. Again, that's a great song as well. And that's pretty much in your top 10, and that's it, really.
I'm just going to say it. It Don't Come Easy. That's probably my top. Everybody hates Ringo, but It Don't Come Easy is a great pop rock hit that I listen to regularly.
I found out something this week, actually. I was doing some research. So, the song that Ringo sings, Octopus's Garden?
Yeah.
Do you know what that's about?
I've never thought about it. What is it about?
So apparently, cephalopods, which is the collective term for octopus and similar creatures, when they're out in the sea, they collect shiny shells, man-made objects, and other such things that they like, and they put them in their nest, and it's called an octopus's garden. And they just do it because they like it. They're incredibly intelligent creatures. So they might see a shiny shell, or they might see a ring that someone dropped, or they might see some other, shiny piece of glass or plastic. They will take them back to the nest, and then they'll just decorate it to make it look nice. And that's called an octopus's garden. And when Ringo heard about that, he said, I'd like to be under the sea in an octopus's garden in the shade. And that's where it comes from.
That's the most Ringo thing I've ever heard, to be honest. Like, very literal. Like, you never know what he's thinking. And that's exactly, that all makes sense now that you said it, Tim. I see where this is going. Never heard of that, though.
Huh. No, I heard about it, And I thought, that can't be true. And then I looked it up and I was like, there it is. An octopus's garden is a real thing.
Well, there you go. I will say on our solo career, Beatles, even though I know he got sued, I still like got my mindset on you too, Tim. I do listen to it regularly. George Harrison killed on that one as well.
Yeah, there's a really good George Harrison live album. It's George Harrison and Eric Clapton, sadly, but
No.
just take that name off. They did a tour together and they toured in Japan. And he does some Beatles songs and he does some of his solo materials and some other material. And Clapton plays guitar on it. And it is really, really good.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. My Sweet Lord, even though I'm not religious, I also like that song too.
Yeah,
So,
My Sweet
nice.
Lord is a fantastic song. Harrison had some great songs, and especially like Something. I mean, that is so good too.
Yeah. I'm just saying, for whatever reason, if I'm seeking out a solo Beatle, I don't always just jump to John Lennon. And, there is something to be said about the fact that we've discussed at nauseum that he did like to be mean to people. So
That's
there's
true.
that.
I think if you're really in real life, if you're seeking out solo Beatles, you go with Paul McCartney because Paul McCartney is
Absolutely.
omnipresent.
But I didn't want to bring him about me. He's also like, he was the thread. I think that I'm going to say this, and this might be controversial and the internet might come for me. Paul McCartney, Joy. Paul McCartney is the reason the Beatles were as successful as they were. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. His songwriting, like his ability to hear something and put it into music, and it's too good.
Yeah, and also the addition of Lennon. And also, one thing I've learned from the Beatles anthology that I've learned recently, the entire reason the Beatles exists is Paul McCartney obviously lived in Liverpool, as did John Lennon. And he had nothing to do one weekend. And Paul McCartney's friend said, do you want to go to the Village Fete? And Paul McCartney said, yeah, all right, then I've got nothing on this Saturday. So he goes to the Village Fete and John Lennon's band, the Quarrymen, were playing. And he was impressed with John Lennon and he had a chat with him after the gig. Boomph! That's where the Beatles started. And it's all because his friend said, do you want to go to the Village Fete?
Talk about fate, man. That's pretty cool. All right. Well, Tim, we got another word. I've already put it into the machine, so I'll tell you what AI said. But the word is highway. I know mine. My brain instantly went to I Can't Drive 55 by Sammy Hagar.
Exactly. What a great song from the VOA album. It still performs it to this day.
Yes. So what did you come up with, Tim?
Well, I mean, you can think about Highway Star, which is a Deep Purple track, but my rockness wouldn't allow me not to mention this. Highway to Hell, AC/DC.
Well, and I'm glad you didn't say it because AI went with the most cliche option, which life is a highway. It did the Tom Cochrane version, so there's that.
Okay, no, it has to be Highway to Hell. Living easy, living free, a season ticket on a one-way ride.
I don't know why I went straight to, as soon as I heard highway, my brain just said, I Can't Drive 55. And for some reason, that song's been in my head a lot recently, so that's probably why.
Well, because it's the
Good
Red
song, though.
Rocker. I mean, he should be in your brain all the time. He's like 80 years old or something, and he's still out there playing, and he looks like he's 50.
Well, and I always think it's funny. I think one thing that sticks out to me is the fact, back in the day when the interstates are 55, I always think, are there any interstates that are 55 anymore? Because, all the ones I know now are 70 or 75.
That's correct. I mean, the whole reason that the interstates in the United States became all 55 was during the 70s oil crisis. And it was a way of saving fuel with gas guzzling 70s cars, limiting the interstates to 55 miles an hour. And the whole thing about the I Can't Drive 55 is that the roads around where Sammy Hagar grew up in Fontana, California, were all 55 miles per hour. And then he went away on tour, he went away to do something, and he comes back and he's doing 55 or probably more on the road, and a cop pulls him over and he said, oh, didn't you know that the limit's now changed to 45? He's like, oh, come on, man, I can't drive 55.
I had heard that too. I had heard he went overseas and then he came back and was like, what is this?
Exactly.
That's funny, though. And for those who don't know, that there was a big oil crisis and gas, whatever you want to call it, depending on where you're at. Petrol, I guess, in the 70s, and they were lines. You would have to wait. And my dad talks about when he lived through multiple times this happened due to wars and things like that. They would give you like a number, and if your license plate ended in that number, then you could buy gas on certain days.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was how it would work, but then you were limited to how many gallons you could buy and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, a completely man-made thing. The oil at that point was not running out. I mean, yeah, there's much discussion about peak oil and things like that, but certainly in the 70s, it was incredibly plentiful. But, a completely man-made thing. The oil.
I don't know enough
crisis.
About where it came from, so I'm not going to comment.
Well,
I just know Dad said he lived through
OPEC
it.
countries feuding with other countries who are oil producers and limiting output and usual geopolitical nonsense, basically.
Well, there you go. There's Tim's official analysis. All right. Well, anyway, with that being said, I'm going to pick another word. This is kind of funny. Consider we were just talking about oil. The word is fire.
Okay. Do you want
What
to
did you get, Tim? I'll let you go first. I went first last time.
Okay. So this is not an artist who I particularly care for, and we've spoken about this at length. And as a guitar player, many people say, "Oh, what are you talking about? You have no idea." But it would be Jimi Hendrix and fire.
See, I thought of that Adele, I set fire to the rain. Do you know that song, Tim? I'm sure you might have heard it sometime in passing.
Probably as she's doing a dirty on her road crew. I've probably heard that.
That was what I thought. And then I'm surprised, though, AI didn't match I'm surprised I didn't guess what AI guessed. It said We Didn't Start the Fire, Billy Joel.
Yeah, that's a classic song. Did you see the video recently of Billy Joel performing that with a Billy Joel tribute band?
I did. And speaking of that, I was going down like a rabbit hole because I saw that. And, they were talking about, I think Tim knows this fact about Billy Joel, but I was going through, he was talking to one of the late night, I was watching that video and I was clicking through, he was talking to the late night people, one of the show hosts. And for those who don't know, if you buy tickets to Billy Joel, you can't buy tickets for like the first 3 rows. Mm-hmm. And the reason he did that is he said he had a bunch of people who would buy tickets for the first 3 rows. And, they were really expensive tickets. And those people would be like stuck, not paying attention, uninterested, didn't seem to care, just like the world's worst concert goers. But they had the money to buy those tickets. And he said the people in the back would be the ones actually enjoying the music, really were there for the right reasons. So when you go to a Billy Joel concert, he'll leave the first 3 or 4 rows open. And then he'll send members of his staff to go pick out people to pull them to the front and put them in those seats.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Like you can buy the worst seat in the house, and if you're lucky, the crew member comes to your row and says, "Oh, would you like to come to the front row?"
And see, I found that to be fantastic. That has happened to me before. Only once, but it was because there was bad weather. And so a lot of people didn't come. And I had bought tickets, just on the lawn. And because so many people didn't show up, I got to move to the front under the little canopy at PNC. And that's literally how it happened. They just said, "Hey, you can come up here. Hey, you could come up here. We're not going to have enough people show." Because there was kind of hurricane-like winds and rain at one point. So that did happen to me once, not at a Billy Joel show. But I just think that's really cool. And he makes a good point that a lot of people who just want to go just buy whatever ticket they can because they just really want to see him.
Yeah, and you find it in a lot of casinos and places like that. Those first few rows are comped. If you're a high roller, you would get that for free because you're gambling a certain amount of money. And again, that's probably not the people you want in the front row. And they're probably not paying attention. They might not even show up. I know that Joe Bonamassa said he played the Hard Rock Casino somewhere or other. And he played the show, and then the first 2 rows were basically empty. And then he went back and said, "What's going on?" He said, "Oh yeah, we always reserve those for high rollers." And he said, "No more." He said, I don't do business like that. We have comp tickets, but not that."
Well, the other thing is that just makes for an awkward show where he's just sitting there singing because he can only see so far back, right, Tim?
Yeah.
So it's him just singing to empty streets. He's probably or performing in his case. Probably just this is weird. But yeah, I just thought that was cool because I was going down the rabbit hole watching videos of Billy Joel because of the one you mentioned. He also is very funny when you see him talk, just in general. He's got this canter to the way he speaks. Mm-hmm. So when he says it, it's much more funny and interesting to hear. But it'd be cool if we could find somebody who actually got to move up. I don't know anyone who has, but it would be cool if you knew somebody who had.
Yeah,
because
but I
his
think
tickets are expensive.
I know, but I think isn't he stopped touring? He has some kind of medical condition, and he said he's not going to be doing any gigs anymore.
Oh, well, supposedly that Madison Square Garden was going to be like his final something, but I think he's like kind of like every other artist, and if the money comes up, he still does. Like you still hear, you know, like Elton John said that the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road was going to be the end, but he's performed like 7 times since then. So I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
I think it's they're one-offs, and it's as it suits him. It's not really like the commitment of
Yeah,
a
they're not
tour where it's like
touring.
you're playing hundreds of gigs over the course of 6 months or something.
Oh, speaking of people who have weird tour habits, Madonna popped up when I was looking up stuff for the podcast. And she just got like, I guess in Argentina, she was performing because, you know, she always goes back, especially with like her Evita. And, you know, she's got that big thing about the Spanish speaking countries or something. I don't know that Madonna's on tour, but she was doing a show or something was happening where she had an event in Argentina. And there was a person there arrested because they threatened her here recently. I didn't read all the headlines, but that happened. There you go. All right. Well, let's do another one. And Tim, I'm not paying attention to the time, so just tell me when to stop.
Okay.
The word is lonely. I can go first this time. I have very instant reaction to that one.
Okay, you go.
Lonely Heart Club. Like,
Oh, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind.
Interesting.
Did you have anything, Tim?
Well, I've just bought the deluxe CD edition of Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band I got it off eBay because it was I think it's like 50th anniversary or something like that, and it's
Yeah.
a 2 CD expanded edition. I thought, well, I didn't have that in my collection. I haven't listened to it yet, but I do have it now in my permanent collection. But no, to answer your question, I thought of Roy Orbison, Only the Lonely.
That's what AI said. You're 2 for 2. I also thought of Owner of a Lonely Heart.
That's great. Oh, yeah, yes is owner of look, can't even speak this evening. It must be the ice. Owner of a lonely heart. That contains probably the greatest clean chorus guitar sound I've ever heard.
I know, and I just love that. Owner of a Lonely Heart. Much better than that kind of riff and that kind of sound is just so good. So that was the other one I thought of. Both of them come to mind. Now, my dad used to have it Only the Lonely tattoo. So you would have thought, used to, I'll explain why he used to have that tattoo. And no, he didn't get it medically removed. So you would have thought I would have went with Roy Orbison. So a lot of my tattoos, because of injuries and things that have happened, because, well, we've talked about the Morrison family luck, they're gone. Something has happened to him, and his tattoo is covered up with scar tissue.
Oh,
and I'm
no.
fairly certain the Only of a Lonely Heart, Only the Lonely is gone. Yeah, pretty sure that one's gone. He also had one that I will not tell at just because I'll tell Tim in private, but I won't explain what it was. But when I was in high school, he was working on a vehicle and he was working on the radiator and a bubble popped up on it. And he says he knew better. He doesn't know why he did this, but for some reason, as soon as he saw the bubble, what did he do, Tim? He popped it.
Yeah.
Guess what was in the bubble?
Like,
Hot radiator fluid.
oh.
So it went all over his arm, and it scarred right over a tattoo that my mom was not sad to see. So it's an ongoing laugh in my house that it finally disappeared. But yeah, that one was one he knew. He was just, it was one of those things where it's like, he's like, I don't know why I did it. It was stupid. For some reason, my brain instantly went pop, and as soon as it did,
I'll just pop that.
and just right all over his arm. And he still has that scar to this day. So Dad has bad luck, but I mean, he has gotten rid of some of his tattoos he doesn't want anymore. But yeah, that he had the Only the Lonely for a long time when I was growing up. I'm not even sure I ever realized it was the song until I got older. Didn't really put the two together.
There we go.
All right. I mean, it's a pretty popular song, and I've watched many things about Roy Orbison at this point. His story is, pretty popular. All right. So our next... Hold on. I'm going to have it pick a random one because I saw that one, and I don't want to be coming in too early. All right. The word is home.
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 I have one song that immediately came into my brain,
Okay. What is it?
and it is the song of which we will never speak of again.
Ooh.
However, I'm speaking of it now, but I'm not mentioning it by name, so I think it counts.
Well, mine's different. Our house in the middle of the street. That's
Oh,
what my brain went
madness.
with. Yeah. Now I find this one funny. AI went with "Take Me Home, Country Roads," John Denver.
That interesting choice.
I find that weird because apparently there is a subgenre of people not in the US, but like if you go to a pub or something like that overseas, they said that they sing this song comes on more than you would realize.
Yeah, I've heard this song in the UK. John Jagger from Moroccan Soul has performed it, and he knew all the words to it. And then he's from like West London.
So there was like this one that's like it's like some popular bar in Dublin was doing like a live camera feed, and I was bored one day and I was clicking through different places that had live camera feeds, right, Tim? And it was like I think it's Templeton Bar. Does that ring a bell to you?
I've heard of that before.
Anyway, it's just probably the biggest bar, probably a bunch of people touring and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's a local pub or anything. Don't come for me. But I was clicking through, and here I am, just like I was looking at the beach, and I was like, oh, let's see what's happening at this bar. Click into a bar in Ireland, and the first thing I hear as someone from Southwest Virginia is "Take Me Home, Country Roads." I was like, you've got to be kidding me. If I wanted to hear that, I would have just walked outside the door.
Exactly.
But it was so random. And I was like, and they were all just like everybody in the bar. Of course, it was probably very late for them since the time difference, Tim, and it was kind of like when I was looking at these video footages. So maybe alcohol was a reason for how intensely everybody was singing. But no, they really seemed to be into it.
You know what that's like? That's like the influence of Virginia Tech. Now, Hannah's got this thing about that she doesn't like Virginia Tech. It's not so much that she doesn't like the football. She doesn't like US football anyway. And so it's not like she actually hates the team because that's not her team. It's just like it's seeing that VT logo absolutely everywhere all the time growing up. Mm-hmm. Now, we was watching one time a Def Leppard concert. And at the beginning of this Def Leppard concert, they had a montage. Now, Vivian Campbell, who is now the rhythm guitarist or second lead guitarist, whatever you want to say, in Def Leppard, he is an Irish guitarist. He's from Dublin, Ireland. He lives in California. Mm-hmm. And they were playing a homecoming show in Sheffield because most of the members of the band are famously from Sheffield in England. And they were showing little clips of their career. And they show the little bit of the homecoming concert. And what's he wearing? A Virginia Tech T-shirt.
And see, as someone who grew up I'm like Hannah. I grew up in Southwest Virginia. Half the people I went to high school with, all went to Virginia Tech or Radford. Which, given I went to Radford too, but my family was staunchly anti-VT. Like we were never that family, so that would annoy me as well. I'd be like, you got to be kidding me, because it was everywhere. Even if you grew up anywhere near Virginia Tech, you can't not go somewhere without seeing at least one Virginia Tech logo on anything.
Yeah. I mean, I will tell you, in my car, I have 2 Virginia Tech like cup holder things for putting drinks in. And I'm now on my 3rd car for these VT drink things. And it's almost like a lucky charm. It's like I don't want to get rid of them because I've been in my 3rd car. I mean, I need to go to that Virginia Tech merch shop in Blacksburg and see if they have any more of these.
Just start hating them out for Christmas. Hannah would be like, you've got to be kidding me. That's funny. I don't know why, but it stuck out to me so much that night. I'm like, oh, I go to click into an Irish bar. I think I'm going to hear some Irish drinking music. No, I hear "Take Me Home, Country Roads." All right. All right. Let's pick another. Our word is telephone.
Okay. What do you think?
I thought "Call Me Blondie."
Yeah, that's true. I also went with Blondie, and I went with "Hanging on the Telephone."
Really? It's weird we both went with Blondie. Now, AI did not go with Blondie. It went with "Telephone" by Lady Gaga and Beyonce, which was another one I thought as well. But
yeah, that's not a song I've even aware of. I didn't even know they did a collaboration.
That's fair. I mean, it was a good song, but as soon as I saw "Telephone," my brain just went, "Call me." Oh no, you can call. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to mind. But I find it funny we both went with. Who knew Blondie had so many songs about phones?
Yeah, maybe she was an early adopter for cellular technology, and we don't know that.
Well, as we talked about, she was almost kidnapped by a serial killer once. So, she probably was very pro phone after that, being able to contact people and stuff.
Yeah, but in the era when that terrible event happened,
Was not when you would have had a cell phone.
a cell phone would be this massive bag thing that you'd have to carry around with a lead acid battery that would last for
Maybe
like an
she
hour.
could have hit him with it. I don't know.
I mean, that's true.
She talks about it. If you guys don't know, she swears she was almost kidnapped by Ted Bundy.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard this. It came up on the podcast, and as I said to you before, I went to the Crime Museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, which is really, really good. If you ever find yourself in Pigeon Forge, I highly recommend it. They have a whole Ted Bundy exhibit, the clown suits, the whole thing, his credit cards. It's like stuff that really shouldn't be out there in the world, but they have an entire display case with all that stuff.
It always makes me wonder, and I've thought about this. Like, I find it very interesting, and I don't think we should forget history, right? But it does make you wonder, are those people making money off of that? And if so, what's the ethical thought behind it,
Well, I mean, the Crime Museum, the Alcatraz East Crime Museum, is a commercial concern. You don't get in for free. If I remember correctly, it was $20 or $30 to get in. And it covers the Unabomber. It covers all kinds of crimes throughout the whole, all of the years and all of different branches of crime, if you will. But I mean, I think it's probably more of an education thing, and they would have had to buy that stuff, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Now, what's interesting to me, speaking, you said the Unabomber, is how many people don't know what a sovereign citizen is. I've had to explain to multiple people recently because it comes up weirdly in my line of work, and they don't know what a sovereign citizen is.
I know exactly what a sovereign citizen is. A sovereign citizen is someone who doesn't think you have to have a driver's license or insurance, so they buy generic plates off the internet, and then they claim that they're traveling, not driving.
And they also don't think they have to pay taxes.
That's correct.
Or anything of that nature. And that they don't need to contribute in different ways that most average people do. And when me and Tim worked together previously, we had an interesting run-in. We won't go into details with some sovereign citizens. I don't know if you remember that, but yes. So that's another one. If you didn't know, the Unabomber is a sovereign citizen. All right. Well, that's going to get our podcast probably flagged or something. We're going to get, not that we're getting monetized anyway, so it's not like we're going to be demonetized. All right, Tim, how much time do we have left for?
We have about, let's have a look, probably time for a couple more.
All right. We'll do 2 or 3 more. Let me click this. Hold on. I'm going to refresh because the word is midnight. Midnight. I'm going to be honest. I didn't have an initial thought on that one. That one might take me a second.
I've got one straight off.
Really? I can't. Go ahead. I didn't come up with anything
Maria
at first.
Muldaur, I think the name is. Midnight at the Oasis. That's such a great song.
Oh, the only thing my brain keeps thinking of is Mr. Sandman. But I don't think that's midnight. I mean, I guess it is about sleeping, generally midnight.
Well,
now,
the other one you could have is the
what's that?
band from Australia, Midnight Oil, and Beds Are Burning, which is a very important
song.
track, which is talking about Native people rights.
I love that song. So AI went with Midnight Train to Georgia, Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Yeah, that's a good song too.
Midnight. I don't know why. I just could not. My brain just midnight. And I'm sure if I really wanted to sit here, there's probably 1,000 songs that have midnight in them. But for some reason, my brain just keeps thinking Mr. Sandman.
The only thing when I think about midnight, so when I lived in Bedfont, I lived in a tiny little bedsit in Bedfont, which is basically one room with a separate bathroom and a separate kitchen. But I lived there for a few years. Property is expensive in the UK. You have to do what you have to do. And a neighbor had a little cat, and it was like a black cat, but that sort of had some sort of light colored flecks in it. And we never knew what this cat's name was. And we used to call it Tail because there was another cat locally that didn't have a tail. So we called it No Tail. So when this one showed up, it was called Tail. Now, Tail, we used to see Tail outside. And sometimes Tail would wander in the house, and we would make sure that Tail went outside. So I was going out to play a gig at the Coppid Beach in Bracknell. And I loaded my car, went out and did my gig, and I came home. I opened the door and unlocked the door, and Tail was fast asleep on my bed.
Adorable.
So like Tail had just darted in there and hidden somewhere while I was loading up. Obviously, Tail was not enjoying the life that Tail was having with other people. And then maybe months and months after the fact, a neighbor kid who was in the household that had this cat said, "Hey, Midnight, come here." And we're like, "Midnight? What are you talking about? That cat's name is Tail."
Oh, that's so cute. So I have always said if I got a black cat, I would name him Salem after Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That was always my thing. And when I lived in Christiansburg, when it was one of those polar vortex, whatever it was, right, Tim, where they always say it's like -47. We have a lot of weird weather where we live. Anyway, I went out and I heard small meowing, and there was a kitten the size of your palm that was on my car, like trying to get warm by near my car. So I picked him up, and it was the tiniest little black cat. Now I did rehome it to a wonderful home. Don't everybody get mad at me. I have a dog. It was just not the best situation, but I saved him from the polar vortex, and I called him Salem because I said if I ever had a black cat, I would name him Salem. And Salem was in my house. I had some cute videos of him playing with my previous dog, Boo Boo the Chihuahua. And then I rehomed him, and the guy I rehomed him for was taking him to his mother, who had multiple cats, had a big, nice area, wonderful person. They had all the money to take care of them, all this stuff, right, Tim? But the son that picked them up, I don't know what he was thinking, Tim. He didn't bring a cat carrier, and I didn't own one. So, of course, he's driving down the road, and what do you think is happening? A cat scratching him the entire way.
Yeah, the poor little cat's going to be frightened. You need a cat carrier.
I don't know what he was thinking. He didn't bring a blanket. He didn't bring anything. So he took it, and when he came back, he had scratches all over from Salem. And I was like, you kind of brought that one on yourself. What were you thinking? Cats don't do well in vehicles.
No.
I don't know. But yeah, it's Salem Midnight. That all checks out. Now, Molly has a black cat, and it's named Bink after that other movie. Why can't I think of the name of it? With the witches. And
the Witches of Eastwick?
Hocus Pocus. Oh. Hocus Pocus. Bink. Hocus Pocus. That's what it is. Anyway. All right. So, I could have went with Patsy Cline, Walking After Midnight.
That's true. That would be a good solid choice.
I don't know why my brain just went to Mr. Sandman. All right. Shocker. Okay. So our next word is summer. I keep thinking Summer Lovin' from Grease.
That's a good one.
That's the first thing that comes to mind. What did you come up with, Tim?
Van Halen's Summer Nights from the 5150 album. Classic Van Hagar, the first Van Hagar album that came out. You cannot go wrong with Summer Nights. Eddie Van Halen is playing a Steinberger guitar with a Trans-Tram. Absolutely fantastic.
So AI went with Summer of 69, Bryan Adams.
Yeah, I mean, that's a song I never want to hear ever again. Every cover band in the UK plays that song.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's not like Summer Lovin' isn't the classic duet that you've probably heard at every karaoke for the last 17 years.
Yeah, but I would hear Summer Loving over Summer of 69 every single time.
Same. And I'm just going to say it. I mean, Bryan Adams is okay, but he's not an artist that I go out of my way to listen to very often. It's just true.
I mean, he is the groover from Vancouver, after all.
It's just, I don't know. I just don't seek him out, okay? I don't find him to be a bad artist. I mean, I respect his musicality. He's just not someone that when I'm like thinking I want to hear something, you know what I mean? Oh, then summertime. How much do you know about Sublime, Tim?
Basically nothing.
Okay. I also thought of the summertime and then live it's easy. That's a Sublime song. That was another one that could have went with this. Anyway.
There we are.
I love Sublime. I'm a big Sublime fan. And I think their version of Rivers of Babylon is amazing. It ranks up there with Boney M.
I've never heard that, but I'm going to have to check it out.
They have a version of Rivers of Babylon, which if you don't know, Tim knows that there's like 30,000 versions of that song.
Sure.
There you go. Anyway, I'll have to send it to you. I actually want to see a reaction when you hear it because you'll be surprised at how good it actually is. All right, let's do another one.
Well, let's make this the last one because we're almost out of time.
All right. This one is Heartbreak.
Yep, I got it.
What did you come up with?
That would be the king of rock and roll, Elvis, and Heartbreak Hotel.
Which is exactly what AI said. And I was trying to think of something else, but sadly, all I could think of was Heartbreak Hotel as well.
Actually, I could pick another one. Pepsi and Shirley and the song Heartbreak. Do you know who Pepsi and Shirley are?
Yes, they're the ones that disappeared, right?
No, Pepsi and Shirley were the backing singers in Wham, and then they had a spin-off solo career.
That was them.
And they had a famous song called Heartbreak.
Who was the female duo that disappeared that you taught me about, Tim?
The Reynolds girls.
That's who it was. See,
I'm
not
rather
crazy.
Jack than Fleetwood Mac.
There you go. Okay, I can't really Heartache Tonight by the Eagles. It's going to be, or Heartbreak Tonight. I mean, that could be one, right? Heartache, Heartbreak.
There we are. But, but to talk about that, we'd have to get a license from Don Henley.
Mm-hmm. And I said Eagles with an S, so we're all going down. The Eagle, guys.
Yeah, it's just Eagles. Just Eagles.
It's just Eagles. I said it all wrong. Don Henley's definitely going to appear on this podcast.
Well, the 6 people on his payroll will shut us down.
All right. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go force Tim to listen to Rivers of Babylon from Sublime. What would you like to tell the people, Tim?
Just be kind to everyone that you meet. And if you are suffering a winter storm, please keep warm and let's hope your electricity stays on.
And thankfully ours did, so we were able to record this podcast. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.